Helene. How are you?
I'm fine, and let me take the opportunity to say Mawlid Mubarak.
Thank you very much, and nice to hear from your side. And you know, Helene, I born and lived a totally opposite side of this society in Asia and in Pakistan, and I have totally different background, different cultural background, educational background. So when I move here, I saw totally different picture, a different film. That was very interesting actually, because the society where I belongs, most of the people belongs to a religion, either Islam, either Christianity, either Hindu or some, and so on. But here, Swedish society especially, religion is a kind of private matter. It was a question in my mind. I mean, you are a believer, you trust on religion, you follow the religion. Why? I mean, the educational system is not supporting that. The society is overall is more or less this kind of silent. I mean, why especially? I mean, I'm curious about it. What you said, I mean.
It's difficult to say. I think that for one thing, when I grew up, things were different. Almost all the students in my school went to confirmation classes. So you were an exception if you didn't get confirmed when you were about 14, 15. And that has changed drastically so in the last maybe 30 years. So that's one thing. I went to Sunday school, even though I don't come from a very religious family. I went to Sunday school. But then I think that some of us have a sensibility for the spiritual and for religion. So while maybe many of my classmates, they wouldn't go on going to church or being very religious, but some of us did, and I'm one of them. So I think that's a gift.
So you think it's a God-gifted thing?
I think it is, yes.
Yeah. If I tell my point of view about this, first of all, by birth, I mean, my parents belongs to, Islam, and they trust on that, and they teach according to that. And but when I grew up, when I start, I think college, then I start thinking about it, that I'm practicing this. Why? Just my father is saying this to me, go to mosque, or my mother is saying to me, okay, read the Quran. I start thinking about it, that why I'm following these practices, why I'm following a certain, religion. My base was, of course, I grew up in that society, and but when I was in teenager, I start thinking. Then I start studying. I start study the religion properly, and then I think about around me, especially. I feel that there is a force who create all this. This is not a human made things that is around me, especially if I see my body, if I see around me, if I see in the universe in a broader perspective, I feel there is a force. Then I thought, the same force my father is saying, its name is God. Books are also saying. Then I start studying history. Different people came in this world. They belongs to different societies. They live in different eras, in different countries, but they have no connection with each other. They are prophets, but they are saying the same thing. They are saying the same thing. So it means that this is also the evidence that what they are saying, it is correct. Second, when I study the books, Bible, Quran, and other religious books also, I feel that these books are from different, eras. They have like centuries of difference. But more or less, they are saying the same teaching. It's very hard that people are living in different eras, they are living in different sides, they didn't meet with each other, they are saying the same. The books, they have like difference of centuries with each other, and but the books are more or less the same. So then I reach in this conclusion that there is a God. If there is a God, then I should spend my life according to my Lord. What my Lord is saying, what my God is saying, I have to follow that, because He created me. So He have some target that what I will achieve, and at the end what I will get, what I will do, at the result what I will get. So I then start thinking about this point, and I conclude on this that the points that every religion is saying more or less the same, that in this world that is a kind of examination, and we will get the result at the end, the day of judgment. More or less every religion is discussing this. So if there is all these things, then I believe more concrete basis on the religion. So I want to say that I belongs to a Muslim family. I grew up in a religious family, but I adopt this religion with my understanding, not only the blind faith that my father was saying, my grandfather was saying, so that's why I'm following. No, I studied and I reached this point. Yeah, that was my point of view.
I think that as you say, some of us want to, and I think maybe in a secular society like Sweden, maybe people have another starting point. So some of them, if they are not exposed to religion, they won't think much about it. And some who were brought up in religion, they have the choice of leaving it or maybe going deeper into it. So I think that's maybe the difference when you grow up in a religious society. Maybe the chance of opting out isn't as great, and maybe then you just follow because you're supposed to. And in Sweden, you wouldn't really do that today. You would take your own stand, and then maybe you would get more into religion, or you would leave it. But then I also think that most people in Sweden, that's my experience from having been a parish minister, is that deep down, people do sense that they have a belonging, and they feel that when they are very sad, as when someone died, it's natural to come to the church, because then they feel the need to get support and comfort and so on. And also when they are happy, when they are getting married, when they're getting a child. So maybe they don't verbalize it, but they somehow they feel the need to see that when these things happen in your life, you need to connect with something that is greater.
Yeah, you are right, and I think every person from their deep heart, at least they understand, or the person understand or belongs to some kind of thoughts. But as the life is fast, so they do not say this, but at deep hearted there is something. like in Islam and religions, they are the both big religions in the world. Of course, in Sweden also many people, society overall not, but many people are, belongs to Christianity. There are many Muslims also. What do you think? There are some similarities, there are more similarities as compared to differences among the religions, because we are living together here, day to day we met with each other. So what do you think about it?
Yeah, as you said earlier, you said that basically it's the same teachings in the different books. And quite often people ask me, are the religions more similar or more different? And I feel quite awkward trying to answer that, because I get the feeling that they say that if we are similar, it's okay, but if we are different, that's a bit dangerous. But I think that we can recognize in each other. If you see a believer going to the temple, to the mosque, to the church, to the synagogue, you can empathize, you can recognize, yes, what he's doing in the mosque, that's something like what I do when I go to church. But then I think also we should not sort of try to wash away the differences, because you can learn a lot from the differences. And I think that's why we need interreligious dialogue, because I can find things in your religion that I find strange, and then I ask you and you explain, and I say, okay, now I understand. Or maybe that's still strange, but he's a nice guy anyway. And then also maybe you ask me a question from a different angle, and then I need to think about what my practice is, what my beliefs are, and then I discover something new in my own religion that I didn't understand before. So I don't think we should be afraid also to talk about differences.
Yeah.
So what do you say?
Yeah, I have more or less the same point. We should not be afraid to discuss anything.
No.
First of all, because we are living in a free society. We are not slaves, we are free persons, so we should not be afraid to discuss anything. One thing. Second, I think at somehow, when we say differences, at somehow people mix their culture into religion, and sometimes they think that their culture is actually religion. Like I can give many examples in African culture, in Asian culture, in European culture. So they think that their culture is actually reflecting the religion. But the actual picture is not like this. Culture is another thing. Religion is have their own grounds and own base. When they mix the culture and the religion, then there are a lot differences, right? Because culture are different. Culture based on habits, culture based on history, culture based on the environment, the atmosphere, and many things. But religion have a solid grounds, solid basis. In my point of view is, if we are saying the religion belongs to God, and God is one, then the similarities are more as compared to differences. Differences can be in a way of worship. For example, I am praying in a specific style, you are praying in another style, but the final goal might be the same. The final destination might be the same. Differences, when we talk about culture, there are a lot difference between two of us. But if I consider that my culture is actually my religion, then we cannot meet at any point. If I separate my culture with my religion and just think about the religion, then I think there are a lot similarities, and you can find similarities a lot between Islam and Christian. Yeah. Anything, yeah.
I think that religion and culture is more intertwined, that you can't get away from it, that you need to express the faith in a certain language, in certain habits and so on. And also that we can learn to appreciate other cultures as well. I'm very much into music, and you know, the nationalists today, they say that, oh, we should not have Arab music in Sweden, we should only listen to Swedish music. But if you look at Swedish folk music, it has taken in influences from everywhere during the centuries. So I think also that cultures can meet. But I think but as you say, of course, there is a solid foundation in religion that transcends all cultural boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, and somehow we can.
And you know, we are living in the societies. We are not living in the jungle, and we are living in the societies, and every society. It starts with a single person and then a group of people, and it called society. For example, if I have a faith, you also have a faith. What impact do you think that my faith or your faith will be on the society at big level? What is your point of view about it? As a single person, you have a faith, and it will affect on society, or what do you think about it?
I think it will. I think because if you have a faith, that gives you also a solid foundation. So you don't need to be afraid of change in society, for example, and if you have a faith in God, you can feel secure in that faith, and that will make you more open to change in society, to differences between people and religions and cultures and so on. And I also think that with faith also comes a responsibility to live according to the faith and to help creating a good society. In Christianity, we talk of the kingdom of God as being a kingdom that is not separate, but permeates all of the world and the society, and it's there, like Jesus talks about the yeast in the dough, which is, you only have a very small amount of yeast, but it makes the whole dough to rise. And I think that's how believers can be in the society, that they can work for a better society.
Yeah, my point of view is more or less the same, that because society means a lot of people living side by side. If as a believer I have specific beliefs, and especially the belief of day of judgment, that the one day will come, then God will question me that how you spend your life in the world after the death. So if it is my belief, then of course I will take care of the society. I will respect the other. I will not cheat with me, as well as my family, as well as the society, because these are the strong bindings. So we will not destroy our planet even. You know, nowadays the environmental issues, it is because of us. We are destroying the environment. We are not proper doing the things that is according to the system. So if I am as a believer, then I will follow the rule of nature.
Yeah.
Right? So the rule of nature are very clear. So if I am a believer, so then I will follow that rules, and then the society become a better place. So it means if there are more believers, the society become a more beautiful. That is another angle that it was in my mind. But what do you think about it?
Yes, I think there is a lot of inspiration in all our holy scriptures about how to live together, and as you say, about rule of nature and how that we should take care of the earth, that we should be responsible towards each other. Yes.
Yeah. And you know, in Stockholm there is a project, God Who's it's in Fisksätra. If we are discussing all this about faith, about society, about all the beautiful things, what do you think that the God House is the resource for a believer today? What do you think about it? That project, you know that. So what do you think about it?
I think God's house is like maybe a microcosm of what we are talking about, like an how do you say this? A laboratory, like a laboratory for working out how people can live together and how people of faith can make an impact on society. So I think that's how I would describe it. That in this quite small community, Fisksätra, we have these 3 different congregations, and what is happening there is a laboratory for peace. Yeah.
I 100% agree with you. It's a pilot project actually. It's a basic project, and initially it is a kind of laboratory where 3 different believers come together, and actually the base of, as I understand, the base of this project is peace and love and harmony. So these things, actually this is a binding force. So that's why we come together and we come near by each other. So I'm looking in the future, and I think that this is a kind of light for future. If it will successful, and definitely it will successful, then our next generations will follow the same pattern. That is very important. That they will not go zigzag. The goal will be very clear, that we are living in the society. That is our duty to maintain and to fulfill the basic needs, spiritual needs especially of the society, and that is only happen when we live close together, especially God House, House of God project, and in this kind of projects, I think it will start soon across the country, not only across the country but across the Europe. What do you think? I mean, you want to add something?
Yes, yeah. I think, God's House is one of many similar projects, and I find that very encouraging too. And I also think that many people today say that, if we got rid of religion, we would have peace on earth. It's the fault of religion that people are fighting. And so I think that we would be an example to show that no, that is not the case. We can pray side by side in God's house, where we have the church and the mosque, not mixed but side by side. And so I think that is also a very important message to the world.
Yeah, as you said that Muslims and Christians will pray side by side. What is the point of this? That they will pray side by side. It's good for society. What will be the message for the world?
I think that will make it visible that it is our faith and our worship that is the foundation of our being in the world and working for peace. It's not something we do in spite of being religious. It's something we do because we are believers.
Yeah, I think you are saying right, because we, as we discussed earlier, we both are believers, and if our Creator is the same, then definitely our goal will be the same, our target will be the same, and then we already discussed similarities. There are a lot similarities. Then yes, I mean. We can pray side by side, and this project will help us to do this, and we will show the world that it can be. There is no burden in it, and it will we will set a good example for our next generation, actually, that then hopefully with this project the peace message will spread across the globe, and the light will come. Thank you very much, Helena. Nice to see you and nice to talk with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.